The Switch 2 could be getting a GameCube controller according to an FCC filing. So this is something I wanted to go ahead and talk about and do a video on just because I've made it very clear when it comes down to like gaming systems and everything like that. For me personally, my favorite is the GameCube. That's the one I spent the most time on. It's the one I've played the most games with, and it's just one of the ones I just really enjoy. It's one of the consoles I love playing so much, and I've played for a very long time. And one of the things I love so much about the GameCube as well is the controller. So seeing this news come out in regards to the Switch 2, I think is actually really cool, and I'm hoping this is kind of the case and everything like that in that regard. Now, me personally, when it comes down to, playing my Switch, I do have a GameCube controller that I use for it. It's one of those things I'll take it with me and everything like that. Like I remember I was kind of laughing the other day. I went back during the holidays. I flew on a plane and everything like that, and I bring my Switch with me usually, and I'll have the GameCube controller on it. So when I was in like TSA and everything like that, waiting to go through the lines, some dude had seen my GameCube controller and he was asking me, he's like, "You play Smash?" And at first I was like, "What?" He's like, "You play Super Smash Bros?" And he pointed at my controller. It's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, man." I was like, "I haven't played in a while, but yeah, I do." He's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "I just seen your controller." He's like, and just made me think of that game. I was just like, "Oh yeah." So him and I were just kind of chopping it up for a little bit here and there, but yeah, seeing that they're gonna be doing this for the Switch 2, I think is really cool. The only thing, like personally, that I have against Nintendo making a GameCube controller is that the GameCube controller that I have is actually not through Nintendo. It's through like a third party company. Just because the one from Nintendo, some of the features that I didn't really like with it was that it doesn't have a rumble feature, as well as the fact that you have to use batteries for it. So the one that I was able to purchase on Amazon through Amazon was one of those ones where it has a rumble feature, which I prefer, and then it if in case I want to use it or not, and then it also has a chargeable link to it, so I don't have to worry about switching batteries out constantly, because that would have been such a pain in the ass. But yeah, hearing that Nintendo is going to be doing this, I think is really cool. So I figured I can go ahead and do a video on it. So, an FCC tech filing hints that Nintendo could be releasing a wireless GameCube controller for the Switch 2, which suggests some exciting things for the upcoming console, especially in regards to more retro games becoming widely available. GameCube controllers have remained in vogue with Nintendo fans, partially due to Super Smash Bros. Melee retaining its fan base. Nintendo has even released new GameCube controllers specifically for Super Smash Bros. Fans during the Wii U era, ensuring that they can continue to do wombo combos with the best hardware possible. And yeah, that was one of the cool things with they is that they have still been continuing on with the controller, because I know that there's a lot of fans out there that really do appreciate the GameCube controller still. I have been hearing, I have heard it both ways, where some people say it's like one of the greatest controllers ever. They like the feel of it, how it just fits snugly in your hands. But then I've also heard other people say that they don't like it. They think it's a little bit wonky, and it just feels weird for them. Me personally, I'm in the former. I like the way it feels, and I've really enjoyed how being able to use it. So Nintendo could be making wireless GameCube controllers. So, according to Nintendo Everything, a new FCC document is for a video game controller where the label seems to match the position of the one on the Nintendo GameCube's pad perfectly. It uses the model numbers for the Nintendo Switch 2, suggesting it's intended for that system. The only Nintendo Switch 2 controller so far is the Joy-Con, which has a new magnetic grip feature. There has been no word regarding a Pro controller or whether the existing retro controller, like the NES one, will work with the new hardware. And that's one of the things I'm kind of curious as to how it's going to be for myself whenever I do decide to purchase a Switch 2, is if the controller that I have right now that I use on my Switch is going to be able to connect to it. Now, like I said, it's a third party controller, so I feel like it should be okay for it. Like it should be able to work. But at the same time, who knows? It might be one of those things where they might have to also update the hardware for it and everything like that. So I'm hoping that it'll still work, but only time will tell in that regard. So, Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube controllers open up existing possibilities. The Smash Bros. Fans can continue never learning how to use something else. And that's one of the things, man. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. So, with there being so many people that love using it, I'm like, yeah, you guys are better off probably just continuing on with making new ones. So there are a few reasons why Nintendo could release a GameCube controller for the Switch 2. The first is that it's a popular design and there's clearly an audience for it, so it could just be a case of catering to the old school fans. There's also a chance that Nintendo Switch Online could add GameCube games to its lineup, likely onto its more expensive expansion tier. This could be a huge deal, especially if it adds fan favorites like Mario Kart Double Dash or Super Smash Bros. Melee. And that's another one that's been going around as far as rumors and everything like that, is the fact that there's so many people mentioning that more than likely GameCube games are going to be coming an online staple for the Nintendo store and everything like that, and being able to play games online like they have for like the Game Boys as well as like Super Nintendo and everything like that. Yeah, they're saying that GameCube games should be becoming a thing in that regard. So again, hopefully that's the case, because that'll be really cool. I personally, like I stated before, I still have my GameCube and I still have my collection of games, so I'm not really stressing about it in that regard, like I'm sure other people are. But yeah, for anyone that doesn't have their GameCube or doesn't have any of the games and everything like that, I'm sure they're pretty excited to be able to go back and play some of the older games and everything like that, which would be really cool. So it's also possible that there is a new Super Smash Bros. Game coming to the system, or at least an updated version of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This feels likely, and it would make sense for GameCube controllers to be ready when such a title launches on Nintendo's new hardware. And that's one of the weird things right there, because I've heard supposedly that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was supposed to be like the final Smash Bros. Game. So the fact there's even talks that there might be a new one, I feel like is a little bit weird. But I don't know. It's one of those things, only, like I've stated so many times in my videos here, only time will tell as far as what that means specifically for not only the franchise but through Nintendo. If it's one of those things where they're like, you know what, this is a great game that is able to make us lots of money and it has a huge fan base, we're gonna continue on with it, and it'll make sense. But the only thing with that I feel like is if they are going to continue on and make another Smash Bros game after Ultimate, is it going to be able to continue on with having the full roster that it does now, or is it going to be like we've had in the past where they make a sequel and you're going to be missing some characters here and there? So who knows? But again, we'll see in the future what that means for us exactly. But with the announcement coming up next month in regards to the Switch 2, hopefully we do get some good news and we are able to figure out some more information in that. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Are you guys excited to be hearing that we're going to be getting a new GameCube controller like myself? Because like I stated, I love that controller and I think it's great. So if you guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments, if you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.